Welcome back to the Sermon of Bacchus. There's a false belief that's pretty common in society that there's good people out there, bad people out there. This is an illusion that people place onto the world which does not belong there. There is no such thing as a good person. I'm not a good person. You're not a good person. And we can never be a good person. It's possible. I don't know. I don't think there's bad people either. There's good actions. There's bad actions, relatively, because humans create these ideas through their emotions and their awareness. The animal kingdom doesn't really operate in good and evil. If you've ever watched it, it operates on action and reaction and survival, pleasure, pain. Evil doesn't come into the equation without people. And so it's possible that good and evil don't exist at all, other than within the realm of emotions and awareness. But forgetting about that sort of impossible to figure out idea, I want to narrow it down to the idea of not being good, not being capable of being a good person. When you eliminate that illusion from your perspective, from your day-to-day life, you free yourself from this cage where you can judge people based on what they do, mistakes that they make, problems that they cause. You can better address the actions of your enemies by not clouding the entire conflict in the emotions of good and evil and judgment. I know this person who was telling me about a coworker who was doing things that they saw as just wrong and bad. And they're like, this is how I do it. This is the right way to do it. And they were implying goodness in themselves. And that's a typical mistake, to see yourself as good and then look for others and see how they're worse than you. This is all part of the illusion. Imagine covering your world with a blanket that blocks the view of half the world. And so you're only seeing half, and the other half is a blanket. You want to pull that blanket off, because everything you do is going to cause trouble, because you're going to be constantly running into things that you didn't notice because of the blanket. It really is that bad when you see something that's not there, when you cover up what's really there with the illusion in your mind. What happens when you don't need people to be good, or you don't believe that they're good? Now, when they take these strange human actions of stealing and lying and murdering and killing, raping, destroying, torturing, when you see these things take place, you start to say, oh, that's just a human thing to do. That is what people do. Look through history and tell me that that's not what people do. Look through this country, look through this world, and tell me that you don't know about stories of what people do right now. You cannot explain why these things happen without accepting my premise, that there are no good people, and that you don't need to feel those emotions of judgment, hatred, and despising these people. Those are clouding your vision. You're throwing more blankets onto your vision of the world. You need to see as clearly as possible. And now, your friends, your enemies, they take actions. You take actions in response. One of those actions will not be clutching your pearls and oh my goodness, how could they do that? That is so wrong for a person. Actually, that is exactly what people do. You see it that way, now you can take correct action for yourself. Now you can be unburdened by your emotions. You'll still feel, but you won't feel extra things, because you don't want to pile things on. Like the sandwich is big enough. Don't pile it on so that you can't even take a bite anymore. Let's keep it within a size that we can eat. It might be comfortable to believe in goodness, and it might feel good to give people that designation. But you're robbing them of the truth. You're robbing yourself of the truth when you do that. Allow them to be what they are. Allow a person to take all these good actions and enjoy those actions that they take without placing that judgment on top of all of it. Good person, because that is a judgment. And it's unfortunately erased when we see a person as good and then they do something and we say, oh my God, how could they do that? I thought they were good. It's like you are responsible for your thoughts about people. They're not responsible for your thoughts about them. So try it with your daily life. Try it with your day-to-day viewings of people when you're looking at videos. Just consider the possibility that there's no such thing as a good person, and watch how that changes your outlook. Watch how it eliminates a lot of the judgment that you have, and how it stops you from being harmful to yourself. How emotionally damaged we can become when we judge ourselves based on our expectations of goodness in ourselves. Knowing that you're not good allows you to take good actions without the sort of burden of false expectations. So thank you for joining the Sermon of Bacchus once again, and I'll see you next time.